Again, I'm starting with the previous example because assuming this has been completed, I did notice there is an image exists, so I'm trying to move the image to this DOM. So let's see how the drag and drop works. To make a drag and drop, first we have to make this container or this image a draggable one. So a couple of things. Remember, it is a part of HTML5, but I'm going to write it in JavaScript, as we already know. The true sense of HTML5, it's actually the enormous support extended to JavaScript, because the browsers not only added a new tags, it made sure that JavaScript is pretty stable and could be used. Without worrying about the hardware. Form factor or whatever it may be. Even if you notice, the browser settings can prevent the JavaScript. There is a settings you can simply disable the JavaScript. Previously, the JavaScript disabling option pretty easy. Now, if you notice, most of the browser hide it somewhere. We really don't know where it is, how to disable the JavaScript, because it is not something preferred. Previously, or maybe a few years back, JavaScript something considered as a kind of program which will slow down the performance, or maybe the performance hit kind of thing. Most of the developers had a bias over JavaScript, stating that too much of JavaScript, sorry, the code may not be stable. In fact, it is a kind of myth we had among the developers. It's obviously because of the browser support. The browser did not support the JavaScript pretty well, in my understanding. A lot of issues. Now, all the browsers support JavaScript in such a way, in a higher priority basis. It looks like it works throughout, stable, smoother. That's the reason even though it is HTML5, we tend to write a lot of JavaScript code. Okay, let me get into it. As per this code, this is the image I'm going to drag it. And where I would like to move, maybe to the right navigation. So I would like to move it to right navigation. Before that, I need to make one more container, because I would like to make the image only draggable, not the content, because the image is there, part of the DOM called having the class selector called content. I would like to make one more div so that I won't select other content, even though it is there is a separate div exists for message, but still I would like to create one more div to avoid I don't wrongly select other container or element or DOM, whatever it may be. Okay, so couple of things. First thing, I need to make sure it is draggable. In fact, draggable true you can set, or if you don't specify anything also fine. So it's draggable. It's trying for something. Okay, let me put it through. Remember, I'm giving this draggable to image. Mean the image is draggable, not the container or which something holding the image. Okay, we'll give a shape to this container, because in order to really see whether that such a container exists, we have a habit of giving a background color so that the DOM exists, because visibility is very important to identify whether the DOM exists or not. Let me give a background color. It's inline styling. I'm giving the style in the DOM itself. Inline. So whatever color. Let me give some sort of width and height also, so that 300 px, maybe 250 px. Okay. I'm not going to see much of change, but there is a container has come. Float left to make sure, and image seems to be occupying slightly bigger. Let me make a smaller image. Okay, I think better to make a smaller image because the place where we are going to drag is a right navigation bar. It's a very smaller. I'll do one thing. I'll make the uh, image size smaller, which can fit the right navigation bar. So what's the size of right navigation now? Slightly 150 alone. So let me make a 125. This box also will bring it to 140 px, maybe 150 px. Make a slightly smaller image. Let be the height, no problem. Smaller image. I just give a background color stating that this container is something going to capture, which when something is going to be dragged on the top of it. Oh, sorry, hover on the top of it. See, I'll drag it here. In this container, on the top of this container, something is hovering. Similarly, when I try to bring it, the same will happen. So we are going to have two different DOMs. One become a container, another one will capture the image which is going to be moved on the top of it. Okay, and this one is going to capture it. Okay, I'll capture here itself instead because already we have a space. Couple of function I need to write. I'll first let you know what are the function. On drag start, the dragging started, capture the event. Okay, we'll come back, and this is where the one is going to be captured on drop. It's going to be captured. One more function and drag over. So it's not dropped, but it's still hovering on the top of it. You're just having the container, but you're not releasing it. So that time, what kind of an event should be triggered? So that's one. So these two functions, which we are going to define on drop, on drag over. We have already made this image is draggable. On drag start, we have it. Similarly, the image is dragged over there, and would like to bring it back if at all required. So what you can do, you can define these two functions here also, if the image could be brought back, because this is the container holding the image. Okay, let us define those functions. Let me create a script block. Function where we'll start on drag start. Okay, from here we'll start. Say I'm just going to give a div. Remember, this is my naming convention. It's for you anything. I usually have a habit of event specific function. I usually prefix on, but it's up to you. It's not something recommended, but keeping things tidy would be helpful. And I'm also going to need an event. What is going to be performed on the top of it? So, okay, this one. Let me finish all the functions. Function on finish drop. Say it is dropped. What you would like to do? Function ION. Okay. Some name. I really don't have an idea because it's in this case the drag is not completed, so drop is not completed. Simply you're moving on the top. So this also event. So let me put everything, call it in the respective places. First one, the beginning. You're going to capture the event directly, the keyword for it, event. And of course, what else we have? On finish drop. If you specify, remember I'm not writing anything jQuery specific, I'm writing a pure JavaScript. If you specify this, you will get the target of the DOM. If you specify event, you will get the event which is associated on that, performed on the particular DOM. Okay, and what is that? I will put the same because there is one more. And finally, finished. Sorry. Almost done. The respective functions already been defined, but we had to perform any action on inside the function. So first thing, we made an image draggable, and when the image about to be dragged, we are calling an event. Okay, the dragging started, and the image could be dropped anywhere in two containers. In this case, the right navigation bar is a DOM, a container, which of course can going to accept the dropped image. And also I am checking whether any image available on the top, so that it can perform the drag or top. This is to do something maybe. So for example, sometime what will happen, if I mistakenly drag it to the address bar, it tend to load the image. So there is an option to prevent certain thing. So not to do, for example, any other container may also be accepting, chances are there, or any other container or any other iframe is there, your image tend to load inside that. So to avoid that, we are also listening and drag over or anything which is on the top which is about to get dropped. So those function also we have defined. Sorry, I think it's repetitive. Hopefully everything is fine. Okay, let us play around with the events now. This is very easy. Event prevent default will make sure chances are there that the image may be captured by some other DOM, so it will make sure not to propagate the action. So just stop that thing. In begin drag, here I need to do a couple of things. Event has an object called data transfer. It's like a object, bundler object or parcelable object, what we often call. Mean you have an object, you'd like to add additional attribute and pack some other object values inside. That thing can be used with a data transfer object, means it is going to carry additional payload, and with the setter getter method, set get data, already that suggestion is coming. Depending on your browser, I mean NetBeans version, the suggestion may come and may not come, so it depends, but make sure that's you call the data transfer object. First thing, we are going to set data. Any object name you can give, so my image, any name, attribute name, and attach the event. Target, okay, instead of target, do I have any ID for this image? Better I give an ID. I just give an ID called my image. Mean I attach an ID of an image and map it with one attribute name called my image and attach it to my event data transfer object. So it is carrying additional data or a kind of an object which can be parcelable, could be sent to anywhere and captured by supplying the same attribute name, in this case my image. If you know it, you can send it to anywhere. Okay, so I just, the moment the dragging started, this object will have a additional data called my image and ID of an image it will be holding. Okay, next, same thing, I need to make sure page refresh or any other thing which is unwanted action not to be performed, so I need to make sure the prevent default is first call. Now get back your image ID, data transfer, so call the same attribute name. Now we are going to append it to where this function is called. So on finish drop is called here, on here. So this DOM instance will be there already. So let me call it event. Sorry. Append child. This is same like exact JavaScript equivalent of append in jQuery. Append child mean first thing, the particular target DOM will be captured. The particular target DOM nothing but this div. In that there is going to be one more object or one more view is going to be appended or wherever it is being called. So let me okay, it is just image object, right? What, how we have mapped? Okay, I think I need to, I just have an ID, so let me capture that. Get segment by ID. Sorry, let it be precise. I've already done it correct. Because the ID of an image alone I just added in the parcelable object, so now I'm going to capture it and append it to the existing, sorry, okay, correct. I'm going to append it to the existing DOM. So I just saved it. Let me refresh and try to drag it. If you see that that is a plus symbol, right? So it's draggable now. Sorry, I lost. I dragged it. So the image is captured over here. And I can bring it back. Remember, this is where the drag start action. I mean, I just captured and the drag start has been performed. And I'm just hovering on the top. That is called on drag over. Because if I do not prevent the default, I may lose it. So the container will be dropped, I mean the image will be dropped. That's the reason I prevent the default, don't lose the image, still maintain the image and then go anywhere in the DOM, just drag it over here. So drag and drop. I put the same action for this DOM also because I can bring it back. Otherwise, if we do not specify on drop or and drag over to this DOM, once you drag it, you cannot bring it back. So it's pretty simple. Doing a drag and drop is pretty simple as far as JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript. I did not even use what you call jQuery. I simply use the JavaScript to do the drag and drop. It could be your any DOM, which you can make it as a draggable one. Drop it anywhere where you create a container which can accept the dragged container. So for this example, I've used an image, but you can use any DOM, any kind of container, drag and drop it over. So this is how a simple drag and drop could be made. Okay, so I'll put the source codes. And afternoon session, we will see how we can, create a dynamic page load using Ajax. One, Ajax mean asynchronously loading a kind of an XML content. How we can do that? So we can get the remote values from server. I mean JSON values or maybe entire page itself. But to explain that, I may have to explain how HTTP works. I remember I explained something in the very beginning of the session, but I really don't remember I explained to all the people. So I'll before getting into Ajax or creating a single page design, I'll explain what is HTTP, how HTTP works, how our data and server and client model works, how the data is being transferred across. Once you know about it, you can very well understand okay how Ajax works, how the data could be called. So that's we are going to discuss in the afternoon session. So make sure you finish the drag and drop. You have a half an hour time maybe in the very beginning or as soon as you finish your lunch break. I'll give 1 hour time. Make sure you finish this example. Okay, I'm trying to write the same example on the top of the existing example, but let me see if I can use the same for Ajax example as well, so that we don't need to recreate everything. Tomorrow we will see IndexedDB. Be the whole morning session will spend to see how the IndexedDB works. It's pretty easy once you understand. It's quite enjoyable. So then you can go ahead and create a single page web app, like shopping list app. You create an app which maintains your shopping day-to-day shopping items, quantity, numbers, save it, and of course retrieve it. You can also create a login protected web pages so that the login once the user has to register either or once he log in he can see the content protected by the login. Everything you can do once we cover the IndexedDB, but of course that particular project may have a mix of IndexedDB and local storage, session storage, everything put together. Okay, so those examples we will see as it progress. Of course, I'm almost on the spot. I mean, based on your timetable, whatever being suggested to me. So, if you could extend the same cooperation like what you do, yeah, I hope you guys are writing and testing the example. If you do that, and of course, we can easily cover without anything lags behind. In between your maybe your what you call assessment or anything may come.